grab your seats and welcome to the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Biggles Bunker. We are on episode 5, and we got a special guest with us today, and that special guest is Seth. You know him as Raik Havoc. You knew him as Nugget. Twitch knows him as Xclusiveshot. So go ahead and tell us a little something about yourself.
Well, my name is Seth, and I play Raik Havoc. And I like to read books all the time.
He reads books.
All the time.
All right, so I'm going to ask you this then right away. Do you have a favorite D&D fantasy type book series?
D&D fantasy type book series.
So like any kind of like fantasy book that could be like D&D as well.
I don't believe I have anything that's like D&D, but in terms of just straight up fantasy books, probably the Immortal Nicholas Flamel. That was a wild ride with a bunch of historical characters coming in as immortals.
Okay.
And alchemists and stuff. That could have been played into a good D&D.
All right. So follow up on that. Do you think that book would make a good campaign for D&D, like a D&D session?
It'd be confusing. A good campaign, a good book that would be a better campaign is the Mistborn trilogies.
Okay.
It has its own magic system, very unique. Nothing I've seen in any other book I've read, and got me to become a reader in the first place.
All right, sweet. All right, so what drew you to D&D?
Surprisingly enough, not seeking out D&D. I'm an avid fan of the Tales of series, and I've been waiting for a release the last year for Tales of Arise. And as I went through their homepage, I saw the voice actors playing the two main characters, and that thought process went to who plays my favorite character from the Tales of Xillia game. So I go and look up the voice actor for Jude Mathis, and it's Sam Riegel.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see what else he's done. If he's done Jude, he's probably done something else I've played in the past, and I went to his IMDb, and it said he was most known for Critical Role. And curiosity got me. I clicked the link, and I grinded for the first few episodes. I did not instantly like D&D. I was like, okay. It was one moment that made me laugh. It was a grog moment, and I was like, okay, I'll give it another episode. And then another episode. And when I hit about the episode 40 mark, I was binging them. And that's about when you guys offered to bring me in for the first campaign.
All right. So would you say that's your favorite D&D podcast / like video show?
It's close.
What is your favorite?
My favorite would probably be Inside the Biggles Bunker.
Oh, that's what you're on right now. 4:15 Pacific Standard Time on Mondays. More interviews to come. We're working on them. Maybe I'll be the next interview. We'll find out.
Maybe all the players in the current campaign will ask you our own specific questions, and you'll sit down with like Skizzles or something to ask it.
No, I don't want Skizzles running the interview.
All right.
We've
fine.
been to Wednesdays. All right. So I know this answer, but some of the people in the chat might not. When did you start playing D&D?
This is my very first campaign, to be honest. I had no intention of playing D&D other than straight up watching the series. And it was possibly a conversation between you and Anthony, mentioning that I've talked to him several times about Critical Role, and I thought it was funny. You should try it out. And he probably mentioned it to you. Then you mentioned that you play it, in which he came back to me and said, hey, would you like to join the campaign they're about to start? They need players. I'm like, yeah, I'll put my foot in the door. I'm down to give it a shot. I'm enjoying myself so far. Why not?
All right. So you started playing in the beginning of November.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to give like other styles rather than 5e like a try, like maybe Pathfinder?
Yeah. couple of tabletop games I saw before I even know much about them was Warhammer 40k. I've heard of Pathfinder. I'd be definitely willing to try either or. Special one-shots I saw too, with their own setup homebrew rules completely. Has nothing to do with simply 5e.
I don't have any of my 40k characters right here. I was going to be like, look, 40k, yeah. So 40k is coming out with a new game that's kind of like 40k Sanctum Reach, but it's a new one, and it looks a lot better than Sanctum Reach, even though that's a pretty good one, but it's not probably the level of Dawn of War. So, but that looks like it's set up as if you're playing it on a tabletop. So 40k is awesome. Glad you brought that up.
I had a neighbor actually. He used to work at the place that I'm working at right now, and I got him to move above me in my last place. And the guy made figurines. Like he didn't do the making of it with a 3D printer. He did the painting, the paint jobs for 40k, and he tried so hard to get me into it. And at the moment, I was into Smite. I was into Magic the Gathering, which I would love to play a campaign off Magic the Gathering. Always wondered about the lore. There's
a book for it, so you could do a D&D campaign based on that.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, do you remember your first character?
Of course. My first character was perceived as an asshole, just misunderstood. All my mindset, or my character's mindset, was all in good, helping out the group and doing the darker stuff that the group probably wouldn't have wanted to do, and it was not perceived very well. He was also Nib. Like killing Nib, creating probably a supervillain in our current campaign. So that's his idea, was to protect the group from a creepy little gnome that showed up. Hi, we're in a cursed town. You like what I did with the place? It's like, why are you happy, sir? What's the big grin on your face? Did you do this? No, I'm not taking this chance. Everybody likes you already. Screw this. He had to go.
Stabbed him right away, and I tried to save his life, and then you told him again.
And that didn't bode well. That became the what is it? Something that drew between Nugget and Leovani. There was absolutely no coming back from that.
Yeah. Leovani's likes everybody, doesn't take stuff off dead bodies. He's just like, yeah, let's go. Let's just kill things.
He just kills things and plays baseball with their corpses.
Yeah. He's good at that. He hits perfects, which brings me up to Friday, the release of MLB The Show 21. Check out my Twitch. We'll be there as soon as I get off work and it goes live. All right. There's a little plug there. Do you have a favorite class? Because I know you have 30 classes built on D&D Beyond.
I actually do. And ever since I purchased the stuff from the marketplace, I've probably made 100 characters. All of them within the level that we're at. So if we were at level 7 at the time, all those characters I made at that time were level 7. Right now I have, once we hit level 11, I already have 6 characters at level 11 in case, Raik dies some way. And that's a hard decision to find out. But my favorite class so far is probably still good. It's going to be Sorcerer.
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 All right, because I know when I asked you this, you said Rogue a week ago. What makes Sorcerer the way you want to go? What draws you to the Sorcerer?
It's probably its draconic. One of the fight styles that a sorcerer has is a draconic
ancestry,
and adds damage to your element. And I like to focus in on the fire element. Throw fireballs, use firebolt and stuff like that, and get them automatic +5. And the spells that he gets: counter spell, dimension door. He gets disintegrate. He gets all the great spells that I've seen in different campaigns and different scenarios, and I'm like, I would love to use this overpowered stuff. It would and I have a very charismatic version of it too, one that's based on mind type stuff, and I made this character specifically to counter your character. He does a lot of psychic shit. A lot. Almost everything he does is psychic based damage and controlling.
All right, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about Raik Havoc. Who's Raik Havoc? What's Raik Havoc's backstory? Tell us some stuff about him.
You want me to give a backstory here?
I know that's not in the thing, but go ahead and tell us a little bit about Raik Havoc.
The idea for Raik Havoc was that he was supposed to be simply an avatar of life and death. What I gave Skizzles, my character, he was created, not born. He does not have a mother. He does not have a father. He was created by the deities, Gond and the Raven Queen. So he has the power of life and creation in his left hand. He has the power of death and destruction in his right. That's why when I use my abilities and I give an aura, it's always black and white, light and dark. So he's got the best of both worlds. And I can't give you any details about his story because some of it's some real good factors.
That's fine. That's fine. We can go into it like in the campaign somewhere when it actually pops up. So he is a Dragonborn?
Yes.
What kind of Dragonborn?
I chose a copper dragon, but my copper dragon has blue skin. Blue scales, sorry.
Okay.
It's probably because of the picture I found that I just gave him blue skins. Yeah. It looks cool. And there was So I am a copper, I have resistances to acid. So that's nice.
And he's a cleric, correct?
Yes, cleric, tanky boy.
Does he have any other classes? Is he a multi-classer?
He will be a pure cleric all the way through. He is strictly based on his life and death aspects. He can obviously heal, but any other spell is not very big on control. He is about decay and I don't know, healing, I guess. We'll just go with that. But he was never everything he was supposed to do was supposed to be base touch. When I first pitched the character to Skizzles, he wasn't supposed to be able to do ranged spells, which is why last week I had Skizzles seal my character's ranged spell. And I'm supposed to be, everything I do is touch base. I also don't know if he implemented the 5% chance for me to kill you guys, because the Raven Queen's lore is she doesn't like people that are going to die. It's just their time. Let them go. Mm-hmm. So when a cleric comes up and says, I want to revive you and bring you back up from death, she doesn't like that kind of shit. So I asked him, make me roll like a D20 so that if I roll a natural 1, I actually inflict 1 damage of necrotic damage and kill you. Mm-hmm. The Raven Queen just takes over my right hand and just says, no, this isn't happening. And it's an instant death. I don't know if he did that. It's probably too powerful, but it'd be pretty cool.
That could be fun. That could be a fun thing. So you playing a Dragonborn, that's a little different than a lot of people, because according to some polls, the most popular class most popular race is a variant human, and that's because it comes with the feet. And then the next is elves, because people like elves and they cut decks, and then most classes can play off decks, right? So what is your favorite race?
Goblin. Absolutely.
All right.
Goblin or Tabaxi, sorry.
Why is it Goblin? What draws you to Goblin?
Fury of the Small.
All right, so explain that to people that don't know what Fury of the Small is.
Once per short rest, when your character deals damage to anything, you can add damage to the attack based on your character level, which short rest is pretty often in a day. You could probably get two-ish short rest, 3 short rests in a day, depending on what your journey is. But at our rate, it's just adding 11 flat damage to whatever I do. And if I use it on, since it's dexterity based, you want it to be a rogue. But I didn't make the rogue. I made a fighter. So we'll get into that some other time. Goblin for sure. Fury the Small, high constitution, good dex.
All right. So do you have a favorite character? So this is going to be a 2-part question. Do you have a favorite character out of all the ones that you've made?
Out of the ones I made?
Yes.
One I recently made was the He was supposed to be a circus-based character. He does a lot of control. He does a lot of simple performance tricks. He had like 8 cantrips that were all, which is odd. I didn't think anybody can get that many cantrips, but it's the sorcerer I made, the tiefling sorcerer, that was based around taking you out specifically if things came to it. I like his setup. I like how he would be. He'd be a little bit more flamboyant. He's supposed to be a very charismatic individual, and he's supposed to draw crowds and do all sorts of performance stuff. I maxed out those stats. He seems like he'd be a lot of fun to play.
Yeah. I think the most fun classes to play are bards, because you're like, you could be like, if you have a musical instrument that you could play, you could like play it while you're playing and just be like singing as you go and just like mess with people. Like when I was a bard tiefling in a campaign, and I would just like sing as I'd walk, and they're like, "Shut up, bard!" And I was like, "Do do 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 do." I was like, bardic inspiration to you, man, lads. Just like play.
That's one of the. There's a reason I didn't pick bard. I know bard is one of those. It has jack of all trades, and I really like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And has a lot of those great spells as well. One of the main reasons I didn't choose it this time, even though I definitely wanted to, is that I figured Skizzles would have me have to sing something or come up with limericks. I'm no good at that, and put me on the spot. I'm like, yeah, I can't come up with that. All right, you fell in the bardic inspiration. I was like, okay. So that's my main reason for not choosing. But 100%, I would have picked a guard. 100%.
Yeah.
Proficiencies are amazing.
Bards are fun, really fun. Let's see. The second part of that question is, do you have a favorite character in our campaign?
Yes. They're also my most hated character.
Me.
Yes. You are my favorite character and my most hated character in the entire campaign. I hate your character because it makes a lot of situations difficult, but that's what he's supposed to do.
He just wants to.
But I also find you the most entertaining character because you're incredibly consistent at it. You don't change anything. There's no curveballs from Leovani. You know what to expect from him, and you just prepare for that. Whenever you go into a room, you're like, all right, what the fuck is he gonna do? Oh shit, there's Sid. Are we fighting?
Fighting Sid. All right, so how do you prepare for a session then?
Me and Hoboken, Anthony, we actually do a lot of pregame talk. And we don't do it like before the session. We do it one of the days that he is off. We'll sit there. We'll actually chat D&D for an hour or two. And when we come down to the D&D session, we don't do any of the things we discussed. I think it's a great way to pass time. We plan and we think, oh, that'd be cool. We should do this, go in this order. If he does this, I'll do this. And then we just don't do any of that. We just let it go. Throw everything out the window. So
is there anything you would like to see like changed or implemented into our current campaign?
Absolutely.
Like new NPCs that have like crazy stories or anything like that?
There's something I would like to focus in on more. When we had Dissel join the group, he went into Nax's office and Nax gave him like a stick to find the drows.
Mm-hmm.
But Dissel never notified the group, and then he just left the group.
And he does that.
So Nax believes we're on a quest for him to subdue the drows, but we as a group have no clue that was even happening. I would like to go into that, but that all depends on you, Roscoe, and I believe Vinny, because Raik has no clue. I don't even think Raik met Dissel. As for implementing the potion adding it as a bonus action for self, like if you want to real quick pop a potion open and drink it yourself, bonus action to other people, absolutely. It would count as using like a med kit on somebody who's down, and you can heal somebody. Sure, understandable, but you want to be real quick. You're about to cast a spell, that person mid spell, they have their hands out, they can easily put their right hand down, pop it, and drink it. I wouldn't mind that happening.
Yeah.
Maybe we can limit to how high the potion can be that you can do that as like a base potion could probably be a bonus action or something.
Yeah, so in most D&D games like Baldur's Gate and Solastar and Neverwinter, I believe they were all bonus actions. And I think in 5e it actually states that they're bonus action. I have the player handbook right here, but I would have to like grab it and find out. But yeah, that would be cool. I like drinking potions. I mean, I haven't had to because I have damage on like everything. But yeah.
Yeah, you don't need potions. You just hand all of your potions away. You'll still survive.
I know. I had 7 potions on me and I gave away 2 of them.
Yeah, you gave me. I have one of your greater ones, I believe. No, I used that on Vinny.
So, okay, so I'm going to ask you a question based on this our campaign thing and our favorite character. Do you think we should try to get Jacques Ian to come and play every week, but not as Jacques, but as his own character?
Sure. The more the merrier. I actually enjoyed it when we had 5 people. When JJ was here, it was nice. And then there was Dissel. A 5th person could bring a whole new element to the conversations. You know, if someone's quiet, Roscoe. If we bring somebody else who talks, we can change the flow of the conversation, which it's one of the things I like most is the role playing part of it. You know, I would like to do that a little bit more. So having him in, absolutely. A new character, Jacques. It would be great if he brings his own character, so we can go back to Skizzles doing the ha ha ha. What is it? Qu'est-ce que c'est, mon ami?
Yeah. I don't know what any of that means.
Same.
I only know how to say one phrase in French, and I can't say it on YouTube.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so he's like busy and all stuff. So when he wants to come and play, Nick usually has an NPC for him. But I was like, dude, you gotta like make your own character and come play with us. Come on, let's go.
Even if he comes in as a guest star, I think he should actually still make a character that maybe he's just roaming through. Maybe he's a traveling bard, you know? Yeah. Every now and again, he runs into our group crossing between places and like, hey, we're going here. He goes, I'm not doing anything. I'll come along, you know?
And then we can get him to sing, except it won't be Fere Shaka, Fere Shaka. It won't be that.
Do some modern songs with fantasy-like lyrics.
Do. I could see that working. So, Ian, if you're watching, or Skizzles, if you're watching, or Roscoe, if you're watching, convince our Jacques to join every Wednesdays at 7:30 Eastern. Twitch.tv/Biggles_Mets. Be there. All right. So would you say you're absolutely hooked on D&D?
Oh yeah. I regret not finding it 10 years ago. I am in the door. I don't think I'll ever stop playing it. Even if I didn't play with you guys, I'm at the point where I would go on Roll20 and find a group. I'm already on the Discord for D&D Beyond, just in case. You know, someday you guys want to stop playing. I don't think I'm going to stop. I just found it, and it's a whole new world. So
you can practice your DMing too.
Yes.
With random groups, be like new DM, giving it a shot. But so you got to be okay. So JJ Knight on the interview with him, he was talking about he'd go and DM games on Roll20, right? And he'd join random groups on Roll20, and the people would just like want to do their own thing, and they wouldn't work with the group. Like one person was like, "Oh, I want to like gather all these kids with the orphanage and like buy them a house." And the DM's like, "Well, you got 3 days to do this, so you're going to spend your whole day doing that?" Like, so
if they want to do that, I would allow that. Like, hey, if you're wasting your chance to do something that could be beneficial to your team, to go do this, to NPCs that are not relevant to your story, but what they want to do it for is fine.
Die because you had 3 days to complete it and you didn't do it, and now you're all dead.
It's just one of those things where you're like, I want to create a building for people to work in. And you spend your 3 days preparing, but little did you know a dragon attack is coming in 3 days, and it just comes up and wipes it off the map. You're like,
and it burns the house, if you will. All right. So, do you recommend Dungeons and Dragons to new players?
Yes, and I will attempt to tell everyone. I have not been embarrassed. A lot of people have been embarrassed to talk about D&D. I've had people bring up D&D, but they were like hesitant to talk about it. They're like, "How do you feel about this?" It's like it's the age of the nerds. Bring that out. We are all around you now, So
D&D is no longer like Fight Club. You can talk about D&D.
You can talk about D&D now. It's widely popular thanks to the many podcasts and stuff out. Much like Inside the Biggles Bunker, of course. Stuff like this exists. It brings fame to the actual D&D world. I would easily tell everybody I know about it. I'm going to try to get my sister into it, too.
So do you have a favorite style D&D video game?
The only one I've ever played is Baldur's Gate 3, the one that just recently got released. And
yes, early access. It's early access. It hasn't been released yet.
Right. And with that alone, yes, I love it. I have not played Baldur's Gate 2, 1, if there's ever a thing. Obviously, it should be. But this is
good old games. I think you can get them both for like $14 or something like that. Worth it. So I already asked that. All right. So you want to be a DM, right? You want to try DMing.
I want to give it a shot. They're in drastic need, and why not play a role that everybody needs?
Do you think you would like being a DM more than being a player?
Yes, I think I will. Given the fact that I have so many more, like we've gone through it in the previous questions. I make tons of characters. So I'd be making the NPCs too, and they'd have their own voices, their own personalities, their own interactions. All the shopkeeps, all the mayors, all the assholes, or anybody roaming the streets. And I have voices for them, but until I have to commit to them, you get no preview from me. I want them to be those surprising things where you're going into a shop, you're like, all right, this guy's going to just talk to us, and I'm going to hit you with this high-pitched voice. You're not going to expect it.
Doing voices is probably one of my favorite parts of D&D.
Yeah.
Like, you've started watching a Fantasy High, correct?
I have not watched it yet. That's the other campaign I was looking at. I haven't started anything yet.
Did you start any Dimension 20? No.
The only thing I know so far, if I'm not mistaken, is the guy with the glasses who asks everybody if it's their father. Is that the one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Are you my dad?
Yeah. All right.
Because he rolls net ones all the time.
I've seen. All right, so I get those ads a lot because I watch the Critical Role right now. That's what I'm focusing on. It takes 3 hours per episode. I'm not going to go watch 2 different series at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I get ads for Dimension 20, and I couldn't think of what they're called. So Dimension 20, thank you for that. And I remember getting recommendations on my YouTube, and one of the ones is like Grorlak thinks everyone's his father. So it's like 14 minutes of this guy doing roles and saying, "Are you my dad? I'm pretty sure you're my dad. You got to be my dad."
Am I my own dad?
Yep. Is that one of his Nat one?
That's my favorite one. He's like, and you're pretty confident that you're your own dad.
I am ready to watch that. So it's good to know they have something to come for after. I'm halfway through the second campaign of Critical Role. I'm about episode 60, and getting feels like you're getting closer. Even though there's 60 episodes, they're still 3 hours away. It's still a lower number of episodes. I know it's good to know I'll have something to watch when that ends.
Yeah. So I'm not going to ruin any stories about it, but there's a character named Fabian Arameus see Casta, right? And how he talks, it's like I'm Fabian, like, right? And that's a voice I've been like practicing because I want to do it on one of my characters and just like talk like Fabian the entire time because like his character's awesome to me.
It's like, I am Fabian. I am a tabaxi fighter, and I will slice you. You sound like that. You sound like the El Pollo Loco guy. I'm trying to sound like the El Pollo Loco guy.
But he doesn't sound like that. But the Pollo Loco guy might. But yeah, so like I just want to make like all sorts of like characters.
All sorts of voices and all sorts of characters.
For some reason, like if I play Goblin, I want to like do like maybe like a Latin kind of like accent, right? Mm-hmm. And like when I speak Goblin, maybe use Spanish and just like throw people.
That actually be hilarious.
Hola,
or
¿cómo estás?
Maybe you speak in common consistently the whole time, but when you rage, you go into Spanish and curse them out in Spanish. That would be hilarious.
Just be like,
my next character was going to either be that tiefling or that goblin. It was a arcane archer goblin fighter. So it was going to be no shit. No, that's just what I was going to be. I don't think I had a character around him. He was just going to be a little asshole. Just like, fuck you. He's the type of guy that would challenge Leovani knowing Leovani would kick his ass and he'd try to run. Be like, fuck you, give you the finger and then take off.
Yeah, for some reasons, I think of Antonio Banderas. Right?
Antonio Banderas.
Yes. I think of him when I think of goblins because Puss in Boots reminds me of a goblin, kind of, even though he's a kitty, right? So I'm like, yeah, goblins, Antonio Banderas. That's my thought process. I don't know how that works, but yeah.
I think that might be what I'm actually doing the voice for my tabaxi. I think that's actually what I was going for because I don't know many other accents like that. I know Antonio Banderas. I was during my younger age. He was one of the prime action stars. You know,
he was on Spy Kids.
Best movie in A.
And he was Zorro.
Yes, he was.
I still watch Zorro. The fucking movie's awesome.
I watched Zorro, but in a different way. Zorro's one of the characters in One Piece.
You watch Zorro means all the cuts of Catherine Zeta-Jones, Catherine Beta-Zeta-Jones, or whatever her name is.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever her name is. Just all the scenes with her in it. That's your watching Zorro?
I don't remember the movie Zorro.
Okay.
I simply remember the get up and the Z he always slashed on people.
Okay. So I'm not going to go into explaining the movie Zorro, but so do you have any tools for, because you're making your own D&D world, right?
Yes.
Do you have any tools that you use to do that?
Right now I'm actually using the D&D Beyond encounter generator in which you can save encounters, and you have to make these encounters something you can't skip, like the first encounter when the group would meet each other some way or another, and a main antagonist of the actual campaign that's non-skippable. That's where you would save those. And then I learned how to use Roll20 completely. I know how to do the drag and drop maps, the enlarging, the fog of war, the different pages, so where that I have 4 or 5 maps that I just have to click one button, it swaps over. How to give people their character sheets, the one thing we struggled with that one day. I actually know how to do that now. It was actually a little bit more simple once you pull out YouTube. You know, tell me what I did wrong, YouTube. It's choose your template early on. That was generally it, and then granting the character use of the character sheet.
I found a bunch of bad videos on YouTube, and that's why I couldn't do it.
Oh, I got mine on the first one. My Hess Goblin?
I don't know. I don't know what he's I don't know what he's trying to say. No, but dwarves have to be Russian because they always sound Russian in like everything. World of Warcraft and all that.
That or Scottish. Scottish is good too.
Yeah.
Like Gimli Wait, yeah, he's Scottish, right? He sounds Scottish in there.
Or yeah, probably. So you were saying encounters that you can't skip when you first meet a group. Horde of the Dragon Queen is like
I don't have that book. Must have.
it's it's the first start of Rise of Tiamat, and your how the campaign starts is you're walking down a river on your way to this town, right? And kobolds attack the town and cultists. So if you don't help them and you just leave, that would be like, oh, and then the DM will probably have kobolds and cultists attacking you as you're trying to escape instead of you going in and trying to save the town. So it's like one of those things you can't skip if you're playing that, you know?
Really? Isn't that how the second campaign of Critical Role started, was with a kobold attacking a town?
Maybe.
I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't seen the first campaign, but wasn't the ending of campaign 1 supposed to link into Rise of Tiamat somehow because of Joe's character?
Probably. I don't remember. I haven't.
That would be amazing if he comes in for the finale of campaign 2 as well, or somewhere towards the end of it.
I don't think I've watched Critical Role in like 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So are you not up to date with the second campaign then?
Nope.
Okay. Well, now you have something to watch whenever you decide to go back to it.
I have so much Dimension 20 to watch. It's insane. Yeah. And I spend a lot of time watching the Team 4-Star, the guys who did Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I watch their D&D sessions. I kind of don't really like Critical Role. And I think it's because of like Matt Mercer's wife. Like her characters are annoying to me. But I think that's why I don't watch it.
The first campaign, I actually didn't mind Keyleth. Keyleth looked like she was playing her part. In the second campaign, the early part, Marisha plays pretty much a monk who is a complete asshole to everybody and thinks better than everyone. And I get that. Does get better over time. Her character does become better over time. She's still like that now, where I'm at least. But it's more bearable.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'll have to finish watching those. So your whole campaign that you're building is homebrew, right?
100%.
Go ahead.
I had a previous campaign lined up, like a framework, which I was going to base it off this current campaign we're in. You know how the Spark has been going on for hundreds of years. There's several Sparks out there that people have found, and my story was going to be a whole different antagonist or whatever, and the gods were going to drop a single item, and it was going to be literally the first Spark story. Like, this is how it began. The gods needed to help with what was out there, and then it was entertaining to those who watched what happened, what unfolded, and then that's what happened. They started just dropping and seeing the people go crazy for them.
So, were you going to talk to Skizzles and get some more of the background of the world then?
I cannot do that yet. If it comes to that, because that was the story I was going to do. I have actually a whole new template. Whole new. I started completely from scratch. Plenty of time to work on it, and so it's a whole new story. It's not linked to the campaign, but if I do another campaign that links to Skizzles, I would definitely have to talk to him. Like, hey, any small details that weren't thrown into the campaign that you had that maybe I can implement into mine. That way, all your ideas are thrown out there. Nothing seems wasted. Because I know in DMs that I've seen talk about DMing is that when people make a choice, they're like, you have a split road, and if you choose to go this way, everything over here practically thrown away because this is going to lead to its own chain of events.
Mm-hmm.
So they lose a lot of content. It sucks to have a bunch of things thought up and then it's not going to be used.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not mind implementing lost information and throwing it in to my campaign.
Well, so Brendan Lee Mulligan, who is the host for Dimension 20, the DM, he was doing an interview with Matt Mercer, and they brought up that sometimes you'll lose this content, right? but you'll recycle it and bring it back into what you have set for later. So it's like, oh, if they would have went right, they could have done this, 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 and this, but they went left, so it leads there. Well, now I'm taking that encounter that I had planned, and now it happens in a bar fight that just happens to break out while you're there, right?
Nice. Yeah.
So you can do that and implement it. But so the rest of that question was modules. Do you think you would like use a module to start off, like when you first start off, just to get like your feet wet and like understand the story, and then you could like take I think it's Mines of Plemmett, something like that, and it's the starter set one, right? And it gives this little first campaign that like helps you get to like I think level 4 at the end of it or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like 1 to 4, so you get there, and then you can base off your campaign there, and that just gives you a set starting point, so you can like figure out where you're going with it.
That might actually do that. Have a small mini campaign of how the group meets, and then the actual main campaign story begins from there. So it'd be like a prologue to a book. You know, you get the first 4 levels would be them doing some sort of event from a place they've been, or they all chose the same job and met and found something that it'd be like a mini arc in the whole campaign. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that.
All right.
I'd be willing to.
So how do you come up with the ideas for your homebrew? Like, what's your inspiration?
Free time.
Free time?
I have so much free time, and everything I do is involved in the fantasy setting. Almost everything. So I've had ideas. I was doing. I went to college for screenwriting, scripts and book writing and all that stuff. I try to focus in on that. So I've always been interested in making my own world in a book, and D&D is going to be an easier way to ease into book writing, because it's more like you make a frame and then your characters customize it for you with all the choices that they make. So and if it's entertaining enough, maybe I would use some of that for myself.
Yeah. So when I first started playing D&D, like Jeremy had his own world, right? So I would bring my tablet, and I had my my keyboard, my wireless keyboard to it, and I would just be writing mad notes about the campaigns and what they said, and like I wanted to turn it into like kind of like a book, and like add in like backstories from like them and everything to try to like set it up. I know it would probably be really weird, be like, whoa. Why are they're going to the town to save this person, but instead they're going to chase a horse? Why are they chasing the horse? You're like, that's what they picked, man. I can't change the story. That's how the story happened. Be like, what the fuck? These characters are on drugs.
That sounds like something we would do.
Yeah. Yeah, Biggles was chasing that horse. You mean Leovani? No, his axe. He threw it at it. Yeah. So how do you think you would prep for these sessions? Would you be talking it out with Anthony, because you'd be by yourself, right? You wouldn't want to ruin the story for him. How would you prep for that? Because it would be different than how you would prep as a player.
Yeah, prepping depends on what's going on. For character arcs is something I want to implement in my campaigns. I want to make each character have their own arc. You have the framework of the main campaign. You have your main antagonist, your main scenario in general, and you have a bunch of empty slots here. You're like, what can I do to fill all this emptiness in the story? It's like, we'll have each person have their own backstory, and then hone in on that. And I would, during their arcs, I would be more talkative to the players. Like, hey, is there anything you want specific that this guy can do? Is there something he did that enrages you more so than others? Or is there a weakness that only he knows that will diminish your guy? Like if somebody knew a secret of someone and they would use it to blackmail you, would completely turn you against your whole group even. I would add that to the story, but I'd have to talk to the players and say, how would you like to do this? I want you to have fun with your own arc. So it's gonna be about 30% player built.
All right. Well, then I think after this campaign, we'll let Skizzles be a player, and we'll let you try your hand.
All
and
right.
we'll probably take like a month off, and then we'll go at it.
Give me the final stretch to find out where. Like I have to fine tune my actual campaign. I don't want to get so lost and I forget what I was doing. I mean, I have it all written down, but I don't want to lose something important.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. We'll have your back because we're going to be giving you info. Be like, my character's just going to punch things, you know. No,
Yeah,
I might make a smart character. I've never played a smart character in my life.
I'm gonna insinuate a rule here now in public. Nobody can play the same character they're playing in this campaign. Now, if you guys swap characters, like if Roscoe plays the Leovani hard-headed type, then that's fine. That's a whole different. I just don't want any of you guys to play the same experience. I want the experience to be completely different from what we have now.
I play 2 classes, dude. I play Barbarian and I play Fighter Rogue. That's it. I don't do anything else.
What? Well,
I don't like playing smart characters because, like, I'm smart in real life, but like I have trouble speaking.
You gotta take advantage of your DM. Then it'd be a good thing if play your smart character next session with me. You just take advantage of your DM. If you play a smart character like Caleb is in Critical Role, be like, yeah, I can remember everything, but Liam himself doesn't know, and he'll go like this, like, I can tell you everything that happened. He goes and looks right at Matt. You know, what happened? Because he doesn't actually remember, but his character would remember. Therefore, Matt must tell him what happened so he can relay that information. It's like, shit. So it would be the time to do that because I'm going to be writing everything down. Every information that we pass, the choices you make, and I'm going to move a lot of pieces around on my board, I guess. So mess around. Try that sorcerer you keep talking about.
Yeah.
He's charismatic base at least.
Yeah, but I'm still going to speak like garbage because I have trouble with phonics. But so how long do you think it will be like to plan each session?
I can have, if I do it on the spot, I can have every session will be done throughout the week. Like if we do the same time slot we have right now in the current campaign, if we take that month after and we go straight back to Wednesdays at 7:30, every week I can have the campaign ready. And right, it's simply that I would just 1 week, 1 session, and I'd have so much details in each session so that I could be prepared for any choices you crazy people have. Because literally I have probably one of the worst group of people to play this game with. You guys are all psychos.
I am not a psycho. I just want to smash, okay?
In all forms of the word.
Yes.
Have you ever been with a lion before?
You ever been with a lion before?
Oh, man.
And it's funny because, like, I rolled, like, a nat 20 while, like, wooing her, and, like, nothing happened, and I was like, I hate you, Skizzles. I rolled a nat 20, and I can't even get a hug. Like, I hate you.
Yeah, and the one time you actually had a chance with somebody, I just happened to be there.
Oh.
Raik is a very literal individual, so when you say, hey, have you ever been one? I'm like, hell, I've been with one. Hell, I'm with him right now. I put my arm around him like, they were best friends. That's what he was thinking. You know, we're friends, and I'm part of his group. But from an outside perspective, she saw it as, oh, you're with him. Okay, this is awkward. And she turns around and takes off. Raik doesn't believe that. His thought never even went there.
Yeah.
And now he's confused as why Leovani was stressed at him and pissed at him. He's like, what'd I do? You know?
Dude, I had the best pickup line I was going to use, and I couldn't use it. I know here stealing can get me dead. Or fuck.
I don't
remember it anymore. But
I
it
do.
had something to do with. Oh, say it then.
All right. So stealing here may be illegal. Nope, I lost it. Nope.
Yeah, but it was like, yeah, stealing will get me killed here, but
it's worth it if I can steal your heart, something like that.
It's worth it if I can steal your heart. Yeah.
I remember most of it, but then when I went to think about it, actually put my thought on it, it just
when I was trying to quote it, I couldn't quote it.
Yeah. The basis of information or intelligence is retaining information. When you think you got it and you go to say it and you lose it, it makes you seem like you're not that smart. Even though you, in your mind, you know what it is.
Yes. I blame that on 11 concussions.
Jeez.
If Raik had to die, how does Raik die? What is his way to go out?
You're actually asking me that? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
How would you want Raik to die if he's going to die? Like next session, we're being bombarded by the dragon that we killed. All the dragon's kids, the parents, everything. All the dragons come. How would you want to do it? We're all about to die.
I can't answer that. It's huge to my storyline. I cannot answer how Raik can die. It is too big towards my backstory.
Raik wants to die doing the not the dragon, the
Go ahead, use your imagination. We'll just let.
What is your god's name again? The Raven Queen.
Raven Queen and Gond.
Yeah, so he wants to die doing the Raven Queen. It's like the cow did joke, but that's like 2 minutes, and I'm not going to say it.
The information I have, I sent it to Skizzles, and he said that's cool. And I was like, I don't know if you're like letting me roll with that, because if you let me roll with it, then yeah, I can't tell you guys about it. It's actually pretty cool. It's like, because I told you, Raik doesn't have parents. He was not born. He was created. So death is a different concept to Raik. So I can't go into details about. That's one of those moments I'm gonna bust out. And I wanna hope for a reaction for the group.
All right. So first viewer question comes from Zero Fall. Since this is your first campaign, were you nervous?
No, not even a little bit. I was like, if Anthony's here, I know of him for like 25 years. I can't say I've known you for 25 years, but I met you like 25 years ago or something like that. I think I had like a Thanksgiving dinner with you once. I think that's as much as I know you in person. And the worst part, the most thing that would make me nervous is meeting new people. And Skizzles was weird and Roscoe was quiet, so it made it easy. So I'm surrounded by quiet and weird people all the time, so it's all good.
Do you have your face near you?
My face? No, I don't.
Okay.
Wait.
So, this is Raik.
I broke it.
You broke it?
I broke it.
Okay, never mind.
It's under my ottoman a little bit, and I went to pull it. My ottoman's full of books, so it ripped in half.
Oh, that's
Raik is dead. That's unfortunate. Raik is gone. I mean, it was only a $6 mask, so I don't mind buying another one, but.
So once is enough with Biggles. Meeting me, Jeremy Swigs, is that what you're talking about? One time with Biggles is all you need. All right. We didn't ask this question.
No, you didn't. That is on the list of questions.
It is question number 11. What is your favorite part of the campaign?
Did I mention to you this in pre-talks? I don't think I told you, right?
No, I don't think so.
All right, so we didn't even go over this before the interview. Is my favorite part of the campaign was not during the campaign. It was during break. During break, when you and I went into a catch Raik up to what the hell Nib was all about in character, where it was pure legit role play. Raik was talking in voice. Leovani was talking in voice. We were literally having just a simple conversation as Raik and Leovani about what the hell is up with Nib. And it was like, that's what D&D is. That's how this whole thing is. If you don't, it's not like I got something to say. I'm going to tell, you don't say like, I'm going to tell him that I want to do this. You go into character and you tell him what you wanted to say. It's, it's role play. We actually role played, and that's probably the first time I felt like we were actually role playing. With a quick second being McCridball as Nugget. Has to be with Nugget because he did everything.
Yeah, Nugget was pretty good with the nat 20s. He was like me during the championship game. Nat 20, nat 20, nat 20.
Those silent boots, like when I still imagine it right now how it looked in my head, because he said he was turning around as the ball was coming out. So he couldn't hear my footsteps. So I was trying to stay in his blind side. So he did manage to turn around. There's nothing there. And I got advantage on the throw to his feet because I'd managed to keep out of his field of vision. And in my eyes, that was awesome. And the first part when I threw the ball to you and like, what was it? Doggle or boggle? What was the word he made us say? Dongle?
Maybe.
All I know is I hit the first person and actually managed to catch it with a dexterity roll and throw past you for a double out. That was the very first play.
Yeah.
But yeah, the break time role play was my favorite part of the campaign.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be like role playing and like you guys will be like talking to me and be like Biggles, and I'll be like, why are you talking to my ex? Like be like, I'm in character. Like, I'm doing the voice. Come on, guys. Like, I'm not being Biggles right now. I'm being Leovani. Like,
one of my reasonings for that is that every time I look at the StreamYard and I go to, like, I'm pointing at you, I look at your title that you have on StreamYard and I just read it. You know, I imagine that's what they do too. Like, hey, Biggles. And you're like, I'm not Biggles. Like, oh, yeah. So that's when you swapped it. I haven't done it since. Yeah. No, I did it. I did the last session. I called you Biggles.
Why is our name's not showing?
I can't believe I broke the mask. I did not think my ottoman was this heavy. I can't even move it right now. It's got about 70 books in there.
All right. So next question is, what's your favorite game of all time?
Of all time, of all creation of games that have happened, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Final Fantasy Tactics?
Absolutely.
What is Final Fantasy Tactics?
It's a tile-based strategy game where, much like D&D, actually, we could probably say it's pretty damn close to D&D. It's tile-based movement. This guy can move 5 squares, and holy shit, I never even thought about that. Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics would be a great game to make into D&D. It is that. It is. There's so many jobs. It's got nice story. It's the combat that I like the most. It's grid-based combat. A lot of things are diagonal. There's no attack of opportunity, but there's obviously a lot of abilities that are. Mm-hmm. It's purely strategy, but it's also lenient to bad choices. So
I like strategy games like that too. I'll have to try it. So Zero has another question. So far out of all the spells, which one is your favorite?
Inflict wounds. I love the way that I implement it. I'm literally masking it as me just punching people. No, I'm not saying inflict wounds. I'm punching and then just letting it flow, and then all this big ass damage. It looks like I'm fucking just hitting stuff.
And the best part is he uses it on undead and heals them.
That one's on me personally, but then Raik wouldn't know that either because he doesn't know much about our world.
Yes.
But me personally, I didn't know. I'm like, oh, shit. I think I've healed. I doubled the skeleton's power twice. I'm like, why aren't you going down? Just necrotic. All right, I got you. 5th level spell. How about this? Necrotic. Oh, he got kind of big, sir. Has a +10, still misses.
So if Leovani were to die, what would Raik's reaction be?
Oh, shit. I don't even know exactly how Raik feels about Leovani yet. Like, he has a very negative view about how you play with corpses after they die. He does not like that you guys play baseball. That's the first time it was because he didn't really know you guys and he didn't really want to go into combat if it came to it. Like, he couldn't be that guy that goes, hey, don't do that. You know, we just met. So I did the play. I did, yay, that's awesome. But he didn't like it. So if Leovani died, I would pass on muffins in sadness.
You would pass on muffins in sadness.
I would go into the bar with everybody while they're all having a drink. I would have a cup of ale and say no to muffins.
Damn.
That says a lot for Raik.
That's commitment.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so Zero wants to know, do you think Leovani could take on Raik or Nugget in a fight? Nugget
would get his ass kicked. He doesn't stand a chance. There's no possible way he can do it. I've already thought about that. When I was Nugget and Hugh hated him, I was like, shit, I might have to fight this guy. How? Can't happen. Every scenario, Nugget loses. Raik has a legit chance. Your biggest issue for Raik is not psychic damage, but the rage in general. But I would say Raik has a legitimate chance to beat Leovani. First and foremost, I do have psychic ability, just one, but it does 5d10. So that alone, get those out of the way. The next goal would be to take away all of your rage slots. I think you have like 4 or 5. I personally, Raik doesn't know that.
I
know if I were to, you only have one.
I only need one because it would last the entire fight.
Right, but I have an ability. You have to take damage or deal damage, right, for it to maintain. Command. If that succeeds, I just don't attack you.
I don't think command works on players.
Okay, if it's not command, then it would be control person. So in the
book. You can hold person, right? But
I have something that can make you stop. It says creature.
Yeah. Okay.
Like so it's not that, it's command. I think it is command.
Oh, we lost him. I think he clicked the wrong button. So, chat. Hi, I'm Biggles. There he goes. He's back. Did you click leave?
Button. I went to a different tab and I clicked on StreamYard.
Oh my goodness.
It is.
Yeah, some buttons like command don't work on players. Like it specifically says doesn't work on players. He's back, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, this one does not say player. It says just creatures. So command would work. I can say drop. It would say drop whatever it's holding and end its turn. Now you went a turn with me not hitting you, which you need to take damage, right, from me to get hit. It's not casting a spell on you. It's taking damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then your turn, you drop your weapon and then end your turn. Now your rage is gone, and you'd have to restart it up. And I could just command all the way up to 5th and 6th level.
I should be able to get out of it, right? Like, so I could like roll for Constitution, break it, and like saving throws. So you'd still have to do that, and like certain stuff I'll have like advantage on while raging and stuff like that. And then I have racial traits, I think, as well. But yeah, I think that might stop a rage.
Wisdom saving throw. Okay. And then if you fail it, you have to follow the command. And the only command I'd really have you do is anything that has you end your turn, grovel or drop, which one puts you prone, and that's only relevant when I'm ready to punch you in the head with inflict wounds, you know. But yeah, all right. Back to the question at hand. Yes, I think Raik can actually take. I think Raik's the only one out of our group that can take you, unless Roscoe sunlocks you. But you guys are never going to fight.
Yeah, no way.
It's not going to happen.
Never in a million years. Me and Roscoe, like, if you start attacking me, Roscoe will probably get on you. That's our friendship.
it would all come down to how Leovani feels about getting assistance in a one-on-one fight. Then, would Leovani be the type of like, hey, this is a one-on-one fight, help me? Would you think he would do that?
Leovani is proud, but like, I think because basically
he was a soldier.
Basically, him and Roscoe have been friends since like they were little. Right, even though Roscoe's still little, right? So I think those two, like, if someone like fights Leovani, Roscoe's jumping in, and if someone fights Roscoe, Leovani's like stepping in.
So you're just saying,
unless it's like a legit one-on-one fight where there's like refs and stuff.
So what you're saying is, if you and I fight to the death, I have to start a turn, have a turn delay against you by casting banishment on Roscoe, so he just doesn't interfere.
You might have to.
Yeah, but he has high wisdom, so I don't know if that'll work. No, it's charisma. So that would be how I'd actually lose a turn if he interferes, and then I'd of course have to succeed in the charisma. Mm-hmm. Well, no, he would.
But I would also probably use my fear on you.
Can't be feared.
Taunting roar.
I cannot be feared.
You cannot be feared.
Cannot be feared or charmed.
Nice. I'd still try it anyways because I wouldn't know that.
Because you wouldn't know that. Yeah, that's fair. I lose a turn, you lose a turn, and we start out equals.
Yeah,
like exactly. You get out of here, and I'm going to try to scare you. I'm just joking. You can scare me. I probably should have kept it quiet so you didn't even try. But then again, you said you would have tried.
I still would have done it,
which is awesome.
I do it against the the zombie awards and shit like that, and the mummy award and all that.
Right, you're the guy that tries stuff that people think is stupid, but it ends up being what makes us progress in the story. And that's happened twice, where we were just stumped, and then Giovanni was like, "Oh, let's do this," and then Skills goes, "That was it." It's like, I would have never thought of that. That means that you were the only one that could have, as Giovanni, solved it that way.
Right? Like, I try so hard not to answer the riddles sometimes. Because I'll like be like, oh, I know this riddle. And then I'm like, oh, and I'll be like, guys, I think it's this.
That was
just like say it like randomly because I don't want to like, because my character wouldn't know shit, you know?
Right.
But like, yeah, he knows it, you know. That's why I want a high intelligence character just one time play a high intelligence character. So I can be like, I know what this shit is. I know what this shit is.
That was probably the best thing that happened to Nugget was when we were 5 sessions in. And it was when we were going for the first Spark piece and we were doing the puzzles and stuff. And I'm sitting there at 14 intelligence because that's what I chose. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know this shit. I don't know what's going. I don't know any of the answers. I can't think of. Can I retcon my stats? I don't deserve 14 intelligence. And I swapped intelligence with I think wisdom or charisma. I was like, yeah, this is better. I'm not that smart. And he allowed that to happen. I was like, sweet, because I was simply thinking, I got common knowledge, common sense, but I can't think of, puzzles and riddles. I'm not good at them.
All right, do we have any other questions from the chat? Otherwise, we are going to wrap this up. I'll probably do maybe an hour and 30 minutes of Yu-Gi-Oh! On Twitch right after this. But I have to pee first and do some stuff. And then, yeah. Do we have any other questions?
I do.
Yeah, what's up? What are your questions?
Did you ever make that Blue Eyes deck?
I did make a Blue Eyes deck, and that's what we're going to use on Twitch right after this, after I use the restroom and do some other stuff real quick, like say hi to my nephew who's been in the pool for like 2 hours.
I actually have a legit D&D question then. When I make this campaign, do you have any thoughts on what character you would play? Like, if you didn't have to go with your intelligent character, like your sorcerer, would you use this time to experiment on a new class completely? Since there's a new DM,
no,
you wouldn't mess with sorcerer, you wouldn't mess with wizard or none of that, none of the spellcasters. I want to see you would play a bard.
Yeah,
sing a song for us.
I'll probably play a bard, right? I'd probably play a bard, but I think barbarian's just my happy place, right? Because I get to fuck shit up, and I don't have to like memorize all my spells. I don't have to like learn like little things. I don't have to keep track of all my stuff. I just like going in and kicking ass. That's why I like my rogue fighter, because I build it as an assassin and I basically one-shot shit, and I get an action surge and I go kick some ass, and then I go more fighter than rogue, and I get
fighter class.
I get more stats. So my character by level 20 is stacked as fuck. By like 12, I'm like killing everything in like one shot. Like, it's insane. So
well, as a fighter, would you know that if you action surge at level 11, a fighter would get 3 attacks in his base action? If you action surge, do you get 3 more attacks, or do you just get 1 more strike? Because it says you take 1 more action, so you get 3 attacks in 1 action.
You get 1 more action. Now, I'm pretty sure if you have extra attack, it's DM's discretion. So DM could be like, yeah, you can go again. But I think it's all DM, because as far as I know, it's 1 more action, and you don't get an extra attack to that action because you've already used your extra thing. But if the DM says, yeah, go for it, then you're fine.
Then I have a recommendation for you. Play fighter.
Play fighter?
I'll allow it. At level 11, I'll let you use 7 attacks. Sure, why not?
Well,
How I would describe that is that if you have 3 attacks per action, which it says on D&D Beyond, you have 1 action, and then it says you get 3 attacks per action. That's how I read that. It's how it is. That's how it says on there. I would allow you to action surge and take 3 more strikes.
So 6 attacks in one turn.
Yeah. Plus, if you're a dual wielder, because that's what my Tabaxi is. My Tabaxi is a dual wielder, uses rapiers, has 7 attacks.
You can't
If he
dual
dual-
wield rapiers.
Hmm?
It's not a light weapon. You can't dual wield rapiers.
It's a finesse weapon. It's not considered a martial, is it?
It has to be a light weapon.
Well, it'll still work for short swords then.
Yeah, it would work for short swords, but a
So-
rapier's not
So
a
that's the only change I'd
light
have to
weapon.
make.
Yeah. Now there is a feature, I believe, where you can dual wield non.
I have that. Sorry, that's why I'm using it. I do have that.
Okay, yeah. So there is a feat that you can get, and we had a barbarian. Raik was his name, right? And he had dual battle axes in his hands.
Yeah.
And he was just wrecking shit. It was awesome. He just his whole character. Like I'm going to try to get him on. Right, I'll probably be texting him during the game, but like, I'm going to try to get him in an interview. And he's an older guy, and he put me on a lot of the D&D style books that I read, like Guardian of the Flames. Is like these kids were playing D&D. And they got sucked into this D&D world that was made. And it's all about like the DM that they played with that sucked them into the world. He's like the creator of this world. And he's got like this sword, right? Which is all about the book 2 is all about that sword, right? And the whole thing is about getting the main character together with this other one so they can create a kid. And their kid's supposed to get the sword. And then the rest of the books are taking over from him, right? And then the last 3 books, I think. No. The last 3 books, I think. It might be the last 3 or it might be the last 2. They all focus on 3 side characters from that world that were like guards for them, like the main characters. And it's just awesome. So that kind of like gave me a thing, like got me into D&D, and I was like, dude, I want to play D&D more. Biggles getting big ideas for those 6 attacks.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Raik, Seth, for being on here.
Not a problem.
I know you guys want to interview me. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. If we have no one by next week, you guys can interview me, and you'll be on this side. Look. Or whoever wants to interview me will be on that side. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy your night. Join me on twitch.tv/BigglesMets in probably 10 minutes. I'll be playing for like an hour, 20 minutes of Yu-Gi-Oh! We're using my Blue Eyes deck. Thank you very much, and have a great one.
Bye.
I hit the wrong button. I boomered it.